welcome to Colin Bunyan's cooking recipes. It's been a while, I know, I've apologised for that. It's a glorious sunny day, which can only mean it's March rather than the height of summer. And we're going to be making sausage rolls from scratch, including homemade puff pastry. Now, right, before you make a dough, you have to make a base unit, okay? Which is a bit odd. So, what we do, bowl, teaspoon of salt, 300 gram of plain flour. We need just enough water to make sure this comes together into a dough. So now what we do, we tip it out onto a surface. Using our bare hands, form it into a very rough ball. Put it into a pot and leave it for at least half an hour to rest. The dough has had about 30 minutes to rest. So, a little bit of flour, not much. Then you put the dough out, rolling pin, never in the right drawer, but never mind. And you roll this out, flour in the pin obviously, and you want to make it roughly rectangular, don't worry too much. The butter has been frozen, that's right. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grate it and then I'm going to fold it into thirds and roll it out again, and I'm going to do another application of butter. Fold into thirds. I'm going to put the butter that missed the pastry on there. Fold into thirds and bung into the fridge, 30-minute chill. Now, because we've already added the butter, okay, this is going to be very quick. You need to work fast. So, roll out the puff pastry. Try not to use flour if possible, but you might need to just to prevent it from sticking. Into thirds, using the trifold. Okay, and this is what I'm going to do it swiftly because we roll it out again, and then fold into trifolds again. Don't worry too much about the neatness at this stage, because all we're doing is we're folding the fat layers into the flour so that when it bakes, the layers puff up, hence we get puff pastry. So, okay, now what we do, we fold it into thirds again. Right, and we let it chill for half an hour once again in the fridge to firm up. Right, now we're making the sausage meat. So, I'm going to put in 1 caramelised onion with the vegetable oil, and I've also got in there some strips of cooked smoked bacon. I'm going to add some salt, some black pepper. Yes, you haven't seen this for a while, have you? It's the baby food processor. Tear it into chunks so it fits. Okay. And there we are. That's what it should look like. In goes 1 egg. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a fork and mix these together before I put the meat in, because if you have to mix everything together, you'll overwork the meat, and that's not a good sign. So that's roughly mixed. 500 grams of sausage meat. Now I go to a butcher's for the sausage meat. It's not often you'll see sausage meat unless you go to a proper old school butcher's. As you give us a quick mix using the fork. You could use your hands, but you'll end up warming the mixture and you don't want that. All we're going to do is just roll it out to about 1 centimetre, or half a centimetre, as thin as you can get. You don't want it to be too wide, you want it to be about the width of the sausage roll. So that's about as wide as I want it. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out lengthwise, and then when you get to the end you really need to press it down. Okay, we are talking the ends of the pastry have got to be half as thick, right? Okay, as the standard thickness. There's a reason why. Okay, because when you roll the pastry you end up with 2 layers, and you'll end up with the layer of pastry where the seam is being too thick. You don't want that. Whereas if you thin them out to half each, you'll end up with 2 halves to make a whole, so the pastry is more uniform in style. What we now do is we now take this mixture. Right, I'm going to have to get some water. Wet hands for this. Okay. I'm going to take this and I'm going to sculpt it so that it forms the log. With the help of a bench scraper, you roll it over, it goes on a plate and it goes in the fridge for at least half an hour. I would say ideally longer, okay, before you bake it. Right, so the sausage rolls have been in the fridge for a couple of hours. Right, get some beaten egg and paint over the 2 sausage rolls. Now, obviously, you can customise the size of the sausage rolls to how you want them. Oven's on the gas mark 6, by the way, so that's already getting up to temp. You know my feeling about the phrase preheat, so don't bother with that. Right, so they'll go into the oven for about 30 minutes. I'll see you in half an hour. Okay, they've been in 40 minutes. Now these are going to be way too hot to have right now. I mean, at least 10 minutes, okay? At least 10 minutes. But what I'm going to do first, before even attempt to have one on, so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to do it real close up. You can see there how the layers of pastry have built up. That's beautifully puffed pastry, nice and tender. Okay, these have had about 20 minutes to cool down, something like that. Just listen, this is not fabricated as a sound. That's how crisp the pastry is. Crisp pastry, beautifully seasoned. Oh man. That is how you make proper sausage rolls. I need a beer with this, so I'll see you next time. Catch you later.